Small Business at Work with Michael Avery is brought to you in association with Xero. Make better business decisions.
Welcome back to Small Business at Work, where we take a closer look at the entrepreneurs who are shaking things up and making a difference in the world of small business. Today we're joined by Charles Pittaway, the Managing Director of Netcash, payment solutions company that's helping small businesses grow, thrive, and really take on the big boys. So put on your thinking caps, grab your coffee, and let's dive into the world of payments and small business. Charles, welcome to the show. Firstly, tell me a little bit more about Netcash and your journey in the payment space.
Thanks, Michael. Great to be here. Netcash started its journey 20 years ago this year. And when we originally started, the primary focus was really trying to establish how payments would be transformed by internet technology in those early years. And what we did when we originally started, we looked at how businesses were assessing these payment services at the time. And what we found was that the services were quite disjointed, and the average small business could have 3 or 4 accounts with different service providers to try and get the range of payment services they required. So that started our journey into the aggregation of payment services on a single platform where businesses could be onboarded seamlessly, cost effectively, and then select the services that they needed to use and make use of. During this journey, we realized that technology was really going to fundamentally change the way that payment systems and business software would interact with each other in the future and how they would exchange data. And that's when things really got exciting for us. The next phase of our business was really focused on how we can use this technology to facilitate transaction life cycles between these systems from origination to reconciliation. And part of that process was our partnerships. And we formed partnerships with software vendors that covered accounting, payroll, ERP, and industry-specific management systems to create the seamless integration and add value to our customers. So that's been our journey for 20 years, and we continue to evolve and change and add services every year.
I think seamless integration, that's the key, isn't it? If you're a business, you want interoperability. You don't want to have, to your earlier point, as we started out, 4 or 5 or 6 different portals and service providers. You basically want it on one dashboard, one ability to be able to see all of the business and all of the ecosystem of that particular payment and the transaction. Let's just start with the basics though, and we've now at RPP, but how have payment solutions evolved over the years, and what do small businesses need to know in order to keep up with the changing landscape?
Well, amazingly, it's moved very fast, and I think South Africa as a market has been an incredibly innovative market with fintechs and system operators in this space. And I think RPP is just one of those services. This has been driven, in fact, by the regulators, and I think it's going to fundamentally change the landscape in our country.
Now, as a payments expert, you must have seen it all when it comes to small business payment challenges. What are some of the biggest pain points that small businesses are experiencing daily when it comes to accepting and processing payments that we're still not getting quite right?
So I think in the past, systems have been very disparate. So a small business really to cover all their bases and all their consumer or business partner requirements may need access to 4 or 5, possibly 6 different payment streams. And I think that's really been the problem is this is not their core business. This is something that they have to go and teach themselves about, on board with different service providers, understand the different technology platforms of each payment stream, and then more importantly, manage those at a cost and reconcile from multiple different data sources. So, all things that are non-core to a small business, manufacturing widgets. So I think the combination and aggregation of these services over time is really where the value comes for small businesses to adopt these different services.
And again, I think the value and the opportunity for a fintech in this space is to provide something that gives a small business simplicity in an ecosystem that has all of these different options. And if you just look as a consumer on my phone, I can use SnapScan, Zapper, I can now go with my bank and tap and there are things like debit check, and the debit order process is evolving. We've got RPP as well that we mentioned, and with the new rapid payments program launching this quarter, what impact do you think it will have on the speed of payment processing and the overall efficiency of the payment system in South Africa?
So interestingly, RPP is really an attempt to remove some of the cash in our current ecosystem. Cash, if you don't know, is a very expensive store of value. It has to be printed, distributed, looked after, kept safe, and recycled. So I think what happened is our regulators some time ago went and looked at many geographies around the world, environments similar to South Africa, and came back from learnings from countries like India, who've actually quite effectively already put these payment processes in place. So Michael, if you don't know, currently today in South Africa, 90% of payments are of a value of less than 100 Rand for small daily necessities. And I think rapid payments is really the alternative to this cash, these small value transactions. And it will give consumers the ability to pay somebody without actually knowing their recipient's bank details. So payments can be made to any account via a proxy, like a cell phone number that has been linked to that account or wallet at any of the banks. So I think the advantages for consumers is that these payments can be made from a mobile phone at a low fee to the consumer, and it'll be in real time and available 24/7. So there's certainly going to be an efficiency benefit and a speed benefit, and I think it'll also assist in bridging the gap between formal and informal business going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can just think of the ability now to pay a street vendor, for example, and to help all of those micro entrepreneurs as well. If you look at how payments providers are helping small businesses, and when I say small businesses, post-revenue, maybe 5 million plus, collect outstanding debts and provide a more seamless payment solution in light of the challenges brought about by COVID. I see you partnered with musicians, for example, to help during COVID. As an interesting aside, Richard Brokenshaw is my cousin and is quoted on the Netcash website. What are you as Netcash doing to help small businesses in this space?
Yeah, so I think the bad debt situation for small business obviously has a big impact on them and their cash flow. But, I think payments providers can really only provide, one tool. The payment option or collection method is really the tool that we provide to businesses to assist them in collecting bad debts. But I think, what we've tried to do over the years is to look at the management of debtors and cash flow management a little bit broader, because that often minimizes bad debts to start with. So the discussions we have and the partners that we have in the ecosystem really looks at focusing from the minute you onboard a debtor to your business, that you're able to do credit checks and background checks on that business itself, to be able to monitor the ongoing performance of that business, and whether they're starting to become faulty payers. With our partners, effective accounting and invoicing systems to ensure that you're distributing your invoices and billing effectively, and be able to monitor those overdue payments and action them. And I think, the questions we ask businesses is, are you offering incentives or discounts for early settlements to ensure you get paid on time and assist with your cash flow? Are you offering convenient payment options to your customers? Are you giving them a choice of how they engage and pay with you? And is this entire process from beginning to end automated and efficient, so it's not costing you additional time and money?
Yeah.
And when guys do have cash flow problems, there's amazing products and companies out there that do instant funding, which are kind of lightweight applications where you can get instant funding, short-term funding for cash flow problems. And hopefully if you do all of these effectively, then the bad debt situation diminishes.
And as we know, cash flow really is the lifeblood of any small business, especially in today's hyper-competitive environment. So critical that you as a small business really get a handle on that. Now, finally, let's just talk about the future of payments. What do you see as the future? What trends do you see on the horizon? Are we going to be using things like ChatGPT to play the role of the policewoman in accounts chasing up on outstanding debtors? What do we have in store for us?
I think ChatGPT is threatening all our roles at this stage by the looks of it. But there certainly is a lot of movement as far as the technology behind payments is concerned. And I think probably the biggest of these would be things like open banking and digital currencies, which is going to extend the payments framework to a lot of third parties and fintechs.
Very interesting. Thanks, Charles. We're going to have to leave it there. That was Charles Pittaway, the MD of Netcash, here on Small Business at Work. Don't forget to tune in next time as we continue to bring you the latest updates and tips to help your small business thrive in today's market here on Small Business at Work.
Small Business at Work with Michael Avery was brought to you in association with Xero. Try 30 days free at xero.com.